I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which I live, the Yugambeh peoples, and pay my respects to the elders past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Bethania is a suburb in the city of Logan in Brisbane, which lies south of the Logan River. The Yugambeh peoples originally inhabited this land, which was full of natural resources and had access to a vast range of plentiful wildlife and fish. The history of the Ugamba peoples is not clearly visible as I walk around. I notice that there's some street art at the railway station, which from my perspective has an indigenous feel with the earthy tones and depictions of fish, birds, and insects. I was unable to find any information on the inspiration for this artwork, except that the artist Finton McGee was commissioned by Queensland Rail's Positive Partnerships program. His website says that his work is driven by his recognition of the power of murals to communicate political and social viewpoints and thus divide or unite communities. Many of the street names consist of German and English names, and upon further research I found out that Bethania was taken over by German immigrants from the English and Irish settlers in 1864. They obtained holdings on the Logan Agricultural Reserve Extension, occupying strip farms running east of Station Road to the river. By 1866, they had established a Lutheran church, a school, cemetery, blacksmith, and other associated services. They initially grew maize and sugar before switching to dairying. Now they are just hobby farms. One of the first German immigrants recalls a relatively conciliatory coexistence with the Yugambeh people. As he recalls, we had the Logan tribe frequently camp close at hand near the present Lutheran parsonage in Bethania, and we often went on full moon nights to enjoy their corroborees. Although some of the more intelligent often and emphatically challenged the white man's right to encroach on their lands and destroy their forests, and with them their means of livelihood. We were never molested by them, other than by begging. Another said, we were always glad to see them, for they brought us fish, kangaroo tails, crabs, or honey to barter for our flour, sugar, tea, or tambuka. Colonisation had a huge impact on the life, livelihood and connection to country of all First Nations people. Although many of the Ugamba peoples were able to work for the German settlers and attend Sunday school to avoid being shot or displaced from their land, this was soon to change. In 1897, with the introduction of Aborigines Protection and Restriction of the Sale of Opium Act, most of the remaining Ugamba peoples were removed from their land to missions and reserves throughout Australia. The different world we would live in if First Nations people's history was acknowledged and they were treated with respect and as equals. We could learn so much from each other, living side by side as neighbours, friends and family, having access to equitable opportunities in life, including government, laws, policy and legislation. This would be a socially just and ideal situation.